Hello, Leo Pride. Welcome to December 2019. This is a really powerful month, and it is a month of vision and forward motion, and there is kind of a relentlessness to that because so much planetary action is direct in December, and there's this sense of new beginnings. We have the solstice, we have an eclipse, and the new moon in Capricorn. We have Jupiter making a big shift from Sagittarius into Capricorn, and Mercury finishing out its post-shadow phase. So we have a lot of energy that is just sweeping us into new phases. That's a really amazing thing. But one thing I am noticing with this, and this is specifically for Leos, is this growth forward is also activating a lot of self-healing. And while there's been a lot with the Leo mission, it has been about kind of self-nurturing in our own space, this energy kind of has this sense of like still moving forward even as we're doing that. And so kind of finding a balance between the self-nurturing slowness along with the forward motion is going to be really interesting for Leos this month. The notes that were coming up for me, the first words that came up were deep self-love and healing. And I think the way that these transits are moving, these new beginnings and these new opportunities are moving through are calling on Leos to step more fully into that and really own into this self-loving, nurturing, nourishing modality that is about forward motion, is about forward action, but not in harsh, overreactive ways, much more in steady, steadfast fashion. Because one of the things that's happening with all this growth and all this change and all this newness coming into the collective and definitely into the Leo land is that part of Leos that wants to stay protected. The fear voice, the nervous voice is getting activated. It's getting triggered a little bit to speak up. So that haunted house that wants to come in, it sucks you into kind of like, I think I've talked about this before, but in the series Stranger Things, they have the upside down. And the haunted house is kind of like that, where reality and logical mind starts working in this other alternative way that's a little less reassuring, right? And you kind of go around there and you're in these old circuits. And you can sometimes go and visit that landscape at times while you're growing forward. But this is, rather than that visitation of the haunted house being seen as something that shows that you haven't healed and you haven't made your way forward, I actually think it shows a lot if we're able to sit in that haunted house mode, in that space, and see it and understand that it's there and love on it. We're actually doing some of the best self-healing and self-love we can do in the world. So don't let that get you down if you are feeling a little overwhelmed by these giant waves of new energy. Because those giant waves can kind of be overwhelming sometimes, and it can take us to those self-protection places. So that was the big note that I wanted to share with Leos before I get started on the cards and on the transits. So, like I said, Jupiter's moving from Sagittarius, fellow fire sign, 5th house, heart chakra energy for Leos into Capricorn, into 6th house energy. And there's a lot of energy this month, but despite the fact that we are in Sag season and the sun is glowing and glorious in Sag and we're feeling all that creative, fun, playful energy. Oh, strength came right out. I love it. That's so true. There's so much creative, fun, playful energy in Sagittarius season, but there's a lot of energy moving into Capricorn in December. And this has to do with activating that 6th house, of how we show up, how we care for our bodies, how we care for our root systems, and how we share of ourselves, and where we find balance and harmony, Queen of Pentacles. And I think this is really important because this dialogue between Leo and energy in Capricorn is all about nurturing at a very deep level. And that being Ace of Pentacles, one of the ways in which new doors are opened, right? And this has been a skill set that Leos have been slowly but surely mastering. 3 of Cups, celebration, yes, I love it. For many years. We're getting to a point now, though, where that skill set is getting refined enough, Hermit, that you can apply it more with more ease and understand that that fire energy, that passionate Leo fire energy, is its most potent when there's that sense of watching and paying attention and listening in and then moving, right? It's not about constant motion. It's not about constantly being in charge and on top and moving and pushing and trying and doing. It's much more about this softer stance. Nine of Swords. Oh yeah, we had to have like one card that represented that haunted house, right? There it is. Hierophant. Okay, let's pull one more. So all of this Capricorn energy, including Jupiter moving in there, is really good. It's really, really good. You know, 6th house doesn't get a lot of attention. People are very excited about, you know, the 5th, the 7th, the 9th, the 11th, the 10th, the 12th, the mystical ones. But the 6th often gets we kind of gloss over it. But the thing with the 6th house, and I'm talking about this a lot because there's so much energy in Capricorn, is kind of where we get some of our greatest gifts, our greatest practices, our greatest longevity, and our greatest understanding of our existence. And it's where most of the powerful work we do in the world gets activated. I know just Gabby Bernstein, I do really enjoy because she's a go-getter that's had to learn how to be in that place of faith. So she's really useful for me. But she was just talking about how when you start getting infusions of the things you want in life, the opportunities you want, the love you want, the energy you want, it's time to study even more. You know, in 6th house energy, the relationship between Leo and Capricorn always brings out this, how are we showing up to our lives in the day-to-day? Getting that practice even stronger. Checking in with it even more, because as we get infusions of new energy filling up our lives, we're also needing to keep up with the frequency, and we're also needing to remember that we're worthy of it. And that worthiness gets challenged when we're like, what if it just disappears? What if this all goes away? What if I've done all this work, I've opened up my energy, and then my frequency gets messed up and it all disappears? This is where we need that soft, nurturing, prayerful and faithful energy to hold us and nurture us. That's what 6th house can often do for us in the process of all this growth. So we have Jupiter moving into Capricorn. Mercury is going to finish its post shadow and then move on into Sagittarius on December 9th, and that will be really fun. Creative voice is going to be very strong for you this month. We have a full moon in Gemini highlighting your friendships, playfulness, community on the 12th. That's going to be so beautiful for you. But of course, the day before that full moon in Gemini, we have Venus and Saturn conjunct in Capricorn. So once again, you know, looking at how you want to show up in the day-to-day when it comes to how you love, how you give of yourself, what you have around you, what structures you've built around you, what you want home to look like. And then as we get into Capricorn season on the 22nd, the sun moves into Capricorn, and then we have the new moon and eclipse on December 26th, and I'll of course do a moon magic that gets into the details of what's going on there. But that eclipse, it's overturning how you've been showing up to life. There's a change in routine. There's a change in lifestyle coming up here, and that new moon eclipse is really highlighting the fact that your life isn't going to look the same day to day this coming year as it has in the past. There's been a lot of changes, and that day-to-day kind of organic lifestyle and the way you're moving within your body and the way you're serving and connecting is really going through a big revolution. And you may even feel a little confusion about what that's going to look like next year, and maybe even feel a little bit like you're not sure if you really understand like how to organize your mind around 2020. But don't let that get you down, because I love it. First of all, these cards are beautiful. They really are quite amazing. What I'm noticing though, is you have so many of these cards that are very watchful and perceptive and slow and nourishing and nurturing and ooey gooey. And that's what I love to see for the Leos during this big expansive time. So of course, you know, you have your mascot. Strength is here. She wanted to pop right out for our reading today. The Strength card is such a beautiful emblem of the natural Leo way. What is that? It's the way of the cat, right? They don't run around hunting all day. They don't run, they're not busy actively trying to get everything done. You know, lions and domestic cats and many different types of cats are not about busy work. They're about focused work focused moments of action that have meaning, right? They're kind of the perfect example of inspired action. So the Strength card is always that reminder that our greatest spiritual gifts are not in running around being busy, but in listening in. And then utilizing that firepower, that passion, that beauty, that ability to create and nurture and love and move through the world when it really fits, when it really clicks. And that there's no need to be trying to apply it to everything else around you, right? Strength is really about that. In fact, being next to Queen of Pentacles, even more so. Queen of Pentacles understands that her resources are sacred. Her body is sacred, her energy is sacred, what she gives out is sacred. Therefore, she's going to take her time nourishing and nurturing. The Queen of Pentacles is very mothering, right? She's very nurturing and nourishing. She really lines up with this whole 6th house conversation I've been having. No quick movements here. It's all about really listening in. And yes, these are about deep investment, deep, powerful rumblings under the ground of really where you're putting your energy in the coming year. But does that mean you need to be running around trying to be everything to everybody and trying to do every single project? No. These cards are all about you pick your 1 or 2 things. You listen in, you listen deep to the ground about what it is that's really working for you, and you take that and you roll with it. Now, of course, these are beautiful cards of resources and flourishing and nurturing and all the ooey gooey goodness that is coming up and out of you. It's really beautiful energy, and it's met here with more beautiful energy because we have Ace of Pentacles and 3 of Cups, and these are new beginnings, new opportunities, new creative ventures, new connections. 3 of Cups is all about flow. It's all about celebration. It's all about community and connection. It's all about connecting with the right people. And here with the Ace of Pentacles, that infusion of resources for what you need in order to do that. But once again, to move in the world, to be social, to be moving on new opportunities, to have all that new energy coming in and giving you vitality, health and wellness and infusions of energy, means you're needing to slow down and listen in so that you can move at the correct time and you're not just spread thin. So that's the big message that keeps coming through here for me. Now, the other things that's happening is there is this little bit of a haunted shadow behind the scenes of all this other good stuff, right? That haunted house I was talking about at the beginning of this talk today wants to come in and have a moment, but this is what's so beautiful. That 9 of Swords, that really represents when we let that analytical mind just take us to all the fear places where, well, what if this goes wrong? What if I put my energy into this thing that really calls to my soul and then I'm left alone, I'm left behind in the dust? What if it all blows up in my face? What if it isn't right? What if I'm just full of crap? Look how it's surrounded in this reading. The Hermit and the Hierophant. These are the elders, right? These are earth energies. This is associated with Virgo, and this is associated with Taurus. And also the imagery, the hermit, the ancient elder that has been listening and seeking the light for many years. And the Hierophant, the leader who understands and listens and delivers information through the concrete, through the establishment, right? Through the established. These are old voices. These are deep primordial voices giving you wisdom, and they're saying, hey, this isn't ephemeral stuff, the things that are calling to you right now. Yes, you are investing. Yes, you are making powerful choices right now. Yes, you are listening into a deep, profound part of yourself, and you're taking big steps, and they feel big, and it feels a little scary because you don't know how that's all going to play out from right here in this moment. That's true. But you know that these are valuable, deep experiences and that you are moving on this path, and that's okay. Because I do feel with Leos, there is this bigness to December. It really is a rumbling under the ground of kind of understanding that 2020 is and it's an intimidating year in many ways, because it's big, because it's bold, because it is actually a reflection of everything you've wanted to be living for a little while now, and all the things you've been feeling deep down in your bones for the last year for sure. And now it's here, and you're having to make those energy investments and make those choices, but you still can only see parts of the puzzle because you're not supposed to see all the information. If you were given all the information for even March or April about what's going to be coming up and what you're going to be working on, it would be too much, especially from the vantage point of like the beginning of December. You're going to be like, I can't deal with that right now. So accept that to some extent it's okay for you to just have the beginning forms and to trust into that and to self-trust into that, right? Once again, if that haunted house, that fear voice comes up, hold it and nurture it that much more deeply. Hold and nourish it that much more kindly. Get into that strength and Queen of Pentacles energy that just nurtures you down to the bone till you can't feel anything other than safe, right? Because here's the thing too, at the end of this reading, we have the Page of Wands. And I think this is that inner child of the Leo energy that is so beautiful. Of course, Leos are this wiser, deeper, strength card energy, but Leos also have a deep connection to childhood and to children and to play and to creativity, right? I mean, I think sometimes the Leo clan kind of forgets that playfulness, because we start to take things really seriously, we really mean things, we have that passion, and then it's like, oh yeah, but a huge part of the Leo mission in life is to play and have fun and be lighthearted. It's not about being heavy-handed, right? And the Page of Wands is so playful, so curious about what happens if you do step into that role and you let yourself do that fun thing. So curious about what happens if you let yourself go on that adventure, be in that relationship, or try that new creative project, or just take some of the shackles of heaviness off of yourself. What would happen if you just started to play and started to think about life as this big playground again? And the Page of Wands really here is a big reminder of that. So we have all this primordial elder energy saying, look, we got you. Your root system is held. You are good. So go play. Go use that light and play. Have fun. It doesn't have to be heavy. Now the Page of Wands is also this new beginning, this new kindling. And with the solstice and with the new moon that are happening at the end of this month, and then of course with the switch over of the calendar at the very end of the month, all three of those things, it's like boom, boom, boom. In the course of 8 or 9 days, we're going through this kind of invitational visionary moment of new beginnings. For you, your emblem is both the Strength card and the Page of Wands. These are energies that are about setting the world on fire with play, with kindness, with softness, with nurturing, but also with play, with fun, with vibrancy. And you really owning that space. A lot of the energies in this spread are about leadership. But leadership, I think sometimes we think about that in really kind of staid, old-fashioned terms, sometimes about being a boss or even like a public speaker or being a politician. But leadership can look like so many different things. You can lead in your life just merely by the way you connect with your friends and your community and your family. You can lead by, if you're an artist or a writer and you're doing your little creativity thing here and it's in your little bubble and you feel like you're not really leading, but then you give it out to the world. There is a leading in that creative process and that sharing. That's absolutely leadership. And there is this crackling understanding of Leos stepping fully into their power, into their lovability. Now, I have a few affirmations for Leos this December, and I'm really excited to share them because one of the messages, no matter what big, bold action is coming into the month this month, which definitely is to be soft and nurturing with yourself. Be soft, nurturing, slow as you want to be, and playful. Those are all the key things. So here we go. I lean into the mystery of what is next. I trust my body to guide me gently forward into what feels right to me. I am lovable just the way I am. I am allowed to move at my own pace and listen into the divine wisdom moving through my heart. So good. there's a lot of high impact energy this month, and you may feel the pressure to suddenly have all of your answers and be moving in a very specific way. But just as much as there's impactful movement, there's also impactful listening, and just keep a balance, my Leo lovelies, because there's just so much new. It's just new. And to keep up with that, you got to make sure you're nurturing as well. You can learn more about this Jupiter transit through Capricorn this coming year on my Patreon. I already have that video out. It's really fun. I think it's really useful for framing the way that Jupiter works in Capricorn. It kind of has a reputation for being troublesome, but I think it's a really great transit. And I'm going to be adding a lot more about the year ahead on Patreon and how to connect with the transits this year over there. So that's really where you're going to get a lot of that information, and to maybe feel through and how to get your footing on how these transits are going to be affecting you. So if you're interested in that, please join me. And thank you so much to those of you who are already there with me. It means the world to me. It really does. And of course, you can find me on Instagram at SarahVerba or on my website, SARAHTAROT.com. I'll leave all of my links below. My calendar is on pause for new sessions in 2020, but I may be opening up a select number of sessions for the early part of the year. So if you're interested in getting notified for the opening of the 2020 calendar, you can email me and I will add you to that specific notification list. And of course, as always, enjoy PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry. Her Etsy shop will also be in the description box. She makes the most beautiful jewelry in the world. I wear it every day still, and she's always creating something new and up to something new, so go check her out. I will see you all in January, and also of course for eclipse season and all the amazing things that are happening there. Have a beautiful December, my loves. I will see you so soon.